What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, a huge thanks for coming back. We really appreciate you. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. So today we're going to be working on the crew cab dually again. I'm finally doing something that I should have done a long time ago that really bothers me about this truck. But first, quick update on Dirty Girl. We are in the background working on this thing. Over the last few days, we completely removed the suspension on this thing, the axles, everything. We did 3D scan it, and we have some coil buckets ready for this thing, some coilover towers, coilover buckets for this thing, and hopefully in the next few days we can start working on that. So yeah, this thing is getting pretty close to, looking like a truck again. I did mock up the wheels and tires on this thing, and it looks phenomenal. I cannot wait for this thing to be done. It is pretty freaking cool. But anyways, that's the update on this thing. What I am planning on fixing today on the dually is, as you might be able to see, I did a little oopsie. This truck, ever since I bought it, has had two different sets of keys. One to turn on the truck and another one to open the doors. So that means that somewhere along its life, somebody changed the key, the ignition cylinder, on the column, I think. And I've always, like I said, have had two pairs of keys, one for the doors and one for the actual ignition, and it always bothered the crap out of me. I didn't like it. But it wasn't a big deal, so I always lived with it. Except that the other day I lost my main set of keys for this truck. Now, fortunately, I always make copies of my keys that I have for these trucks. So I went ahead and dug out my set of spare keys that I have for this thing, my two sets. And the other day this truck sits a lot, but I do like to drive it at least, once every couple of weeks or whatnot. So I went and took it for a drive to the hardware store. I came back, and I usually, since both keys are usually in a key ring, I have them together, but since, again, these were the spare ones and I didn't have a ring for it yet, I threw the key to the doors on the center console. And then when I came back, I just turned it off, took the key off, locked the doors, and closed it. So I left my keys inside to the doors, and I was essentially locked out of the truck. And, me trying to be me, I tried to break into this thing, and unfortunately, as you can see, it did not go well. I have a piece of glass coming for this thing, and it was supposed to show up today, but it didn't. It's supposed to show up tomorrow. So hopefully it comes in and I can switch it before this video goes live. If not, we are at least going to switch over the key cylinders, the whatever you want to call it, which in theory should be pretty easy. Now, I already did that side, and it was not that easy. So the basic way that you do this is a little clip for your cylinder. So you take that off, and then you can just pull the cylinder out and replace it with the new one. The thing with that is that there is a rod in there that if you can't hold on to it and it goes back inside of your door, then at that point, you got to take off your door panel and fish it back out and try to install it. And that's what happened on the other side. I lost, when I was trying to put the new cylinder in, it came off the rod, and the rod went inside of the door panel, and I couldn't get it back out. So I had to take the door panel back off, find it, and then get it installed. It was a little bit of a pain. But luckily we got it all done, got it all fixed. So now I'm hoping that this side will be a little bit easier, and I'm going to try and show you the process. I've got a little panel tool for this, but any screwdriver or pry bar should be able to get it out. And this thing, like I said, should just come out. It did on the other side, but this side seems like it's trying to fight me a little bit. There we go. That is what holds your your little key lock cylinder in place. You also need a set of needle nose pliers, vice grips, sorry, to be able to hold that rod that I'm talking about. Okay guys, so hopefully you can see pretty good what I'm trying to do right here, but once we have that clip out of the way, we're gonna pull the cylinder out and it's got a little arm to it. This is what it looks like inside of there. So we're trying to not break this arm because it's plastic, or get that rod to pop out of here, because like I said, if that happens, we're most likely gonna have to go inside of the door, take the door panel out, and get this cylinder off. We're gonna go behind the lock and try and clamp onto that rod. And again, it's a little tricky because we do not have a lot of room back there. Also, if you've got a truck with nice paint, or you don't want to ruin your paint anymore, you might want to put some masking tape around this so you don't scratch your truck. I actually just unlocked it to pull the rod in this whole assembly a little bit closer to me. Okay, there we go. We have this thing clipped in place. That's not gonna work. Okay. There we go. Alrighty, we got it out. So now what I'm gonna do is, with another set of vice grips, is I'm gonna try and grab a hold of it a little bit further down to give me just a little bit more space to work with this thing. So now this thing can slide on there. I'm actually going to peel a little bit of this plastic off of it to make it easier to take it off once it's installed. And we're also going to put this little gasket on before we install it. Another thing to keep in mind is that there is a left and a right to these cylinders. So you want to make sure that you have the correct one, or else they're not going to go in. Again, I'm being a little bit extra careful with this one because, like I said, the first one that I did on the other side, I did loose it. It did go, the rod went inside. And I really don't want to do that again. Oh, there we go. That feels like it's gonna work. So now with everything in its place like it's supposed to, we're gonna go ahead and put this clip back in. Alrighty. And there we go, guys. This thing is now installed. There we go, like brand new. Now I just noticed that this thing is a little dinged up. I had not noticed that before. Not too happy with that, but it's on there. And now the last one we gotta install. I'm actually probably gonna vacuum all this glass out. It's gonna be the one on the steering column. So from what I know, you gotta remove, I believe, 2 or 3 screws off of this bottom cover, unscrew the tilt lever for the steering wheel, and then on the actual cylinder you're gonna have that little pin right there that you gotta push in and then pull it out of the steering column, and then throw the new one back in. So hopefully it should be just that easy. Okay, and before we do the actual ignition cylinder, I'm actually gonna disconnect the batteries on this thing just to make sure that nothing goes a little crazy. There's nothing obviously electronic with these things, but to take it out, you do have to put it on the run position, I believe. And like I said, I'd rather have the battery unhooked before I do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, guys, and again, sorry for the lack of light in here, but like I said, we're gonna try and get this thing off. Okay, I don't know why this little lever for the tilt is giving me so much trouble. Doesn't want to come unscrewed. It's a righty tighty lefty loosey, right? It does have a little flat spot for a wrench. So again, supposed to have it in the wrong position, and then underneath we have, yep, that little pin. So I have a little pick tool. Hopefully that'll work to get this unstuck. There we go. And here it comes. Maybe. It seems to be getting stuck on this other panel. What the heck? Come on. Okay, so hopefully this thing will go right back in. Let me check and make sure that it's where it's supposed to be. I think it needs to go in. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think we got it. And by the way, it's really easy to Z, but that right there is that pin that you gotta push in to be able to take it out. So hopefully that made sense to you guys. And it was, like I said, it was super simple. But now that that's in there, before I put it back together, I'm gonna put the battery back on and test it to make sure that it's gonna work. Okay, we've got the key back in it. There we go. That worked. Okay, so that works. And then I already tested this, but I'll still show you guys. But there we go. And now we have one set of matching keys. Heck yeah. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go and make more copies of these keys so that I don't lose them. Alrighty guys, and just like that, we've got all the keys matching on this thing, which is a big relief for me, because again, like I said, it was super annoying having to deal with two different sets of keys. And like I said, ultimately I ended up locking myself out of the truck, which, I mean, that's obviously my fault, but still, this should make it a little bit harder to do that again. But yeah, again, hopefully you guys learned a little bit. I did make it, I'll be honest with you, I did make it seem a little bit harder than it needed to be with that one. But that's just like I said, you really want to be careful to not lose that rod inside of your door panel. It makes it a little bit harder. So just like I said, be careful, make sure that rod doesn't go inside of your door panel, and you'll be good. The whole process was honestly super easy. The whole process took me about an hour, including me fishing that other one, taking that other door panel out of the door and fishing that rod out. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a super easy process if you don't have any problems with that little rod getting lost on you inside of the door panel, inside of the door, and you're not filming a video. I'm pretty sure you can get all three cylinders swapped out in probably 30 minutes, I'd say so, if not less. So again, super easy project. If you have any, because these are really old trucks now, and I know that a lot of them have mismatched keys. I'll also leave a link down below to the cylinders. I obviously bought them as a set. So I'll leave a link to it down below if you guys need it. And then hopefully this window comes in. If it does, we'll make it a part of this video. If not, you're obviously already seeing the outro, which means that it didn't get here. But yeah, remember guys, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, that really helps. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Again, thank you.